Well, what we thought we'd talk about today to sort of begin is this question of what it means to be Reformed.
Yeah.
We deal with that a lot in Southern California. We, obviously we have, I don't know, Escondido is kind of a Bible belt. There's a lot of people, in the area in churches, but there's a lot of people searching. And then they see this thing on the sign Reformed.
Yeah.
And it's really confusing for people because, within the sort of tent of evangelicalism, Protestantism, you got all kind of variations. And then you people generally might know what a Methodist is or a Baptist or a Lutheran, but they say Reformed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to me, like just people that read the sign, like, or, see on the internet, oh, you're planning a church, like meet people. Oh, what kind of church? Reformed. Okay. Like there's two categories of people, one of Christian people that see that. One is like a person who already believes they have some idea of what that is. The word Reformed.
Right.
So this is important to me because there's a lot of, for churchy people and Southern California evangelicals and beyond, like Reformed, maybe they've heard some things about it. Maybe their church has some degree of Reformed beliefs or convictions, or their pastor says, I lean toward the Reformed, this or that. But in that case, to me, if people already are aware of the term, what I think is important is to distinguish what is sort of properly Reformed, so to speak. And we could get into a long thing about that. But to me, it's basically defined as a group, a church that is part of a denomination or federation of churches that believes and practices one of the two major groups of Reformed confessions, either the Westminster Confession of Faith and its catechisms, or the three forms of unity, which the Heidelberg Catechism, the Canons of Dort, the Belgian Confession. And why I say that's important is that those are sort of official documents that give a full expression to historically what Reformed churches believed and practiced. Because today, Reformed can just mean piecemeal parts of the Reformed tradition, but people see that as Reformed, but it's really, and it is to whatever degree. But when you see, and even some of these churches use Reformed in their name or on their labels, which is so I just think that that's the first thing. If Reformed already means something to you, this distinction is important.
It is.
Is it a full confessional Reformed church? Do they believe and subscribe to these confessions, and do they practice them in the beliefs and the life of the church? That's a big thing.
It's a big thing
that I think a lot of people are confused about. I meet people. Ventura is a small town, 100,000. Oxnard, same thing. It's basically same town. Geographically, 200,000. Camarillo, another 50, whatever. So let's say that Oxnard plain, let's say it's 500,000 people. Not that big relative to Southern California terms, but I meet people all the time who's, Reformed. Oh, my church is Reformed, or this church is Reformed.
Right.
And what that is the furthest thing from it, except on maybe a couple of issues. And that's why this is important, because historically, Reformed churches are the ones who embrace and practice from these two confessional traditions. It's worth looking into if Reformed has any interest into. So, I mean, that's sort of one set of people that I like to talk to. What is Reformed? Well, look, read the whole sets of confessions and see how the churches have historically practiced them. That would be one thing.
Right. And there's two, like you said, there's two sort of streams of the Reformed tradition, if you will. There's the sort of the sort of Presbyterian stream where you have the Westminster Confessions, 1645, 46. And then you have the Continental stream, which a little bit earlier spread throughout Europe from the time of the Reformation. And the confessional documents, the confessions that the Continental stream adheres to is the Heidelberg Catechism, the Belgian Confession, and the Canons of Dort. And you're right, they provide us a whole sort of system of what we confess together, system of doctrine that was wrestled through by previous generations of what the scriptures teach us on sort of the core of our faith and what's important for us to, as Ephesians says, walk together in the spirit of unity and the bond of peace.
Yeah. So, I mean, and we'll talk more about this too, but I just think, another thing that we find ourselves talking to people about is just to get an understanding overall of, who Christians are, who have they been historically.
Right.
Like the shorthand way I like to talk about it is, so you have I would today, it's easy to just look at 4 groups. So you have like what could be called the Orthodox churches, although they're not all institutionally connected and they're not all united as sometimes it's presented and whatever. But anyway, so you have the Orthodox churches, you have Roman Catholicism. Most people are familiar with that. And then you have the historic Protestants.
Right.
And I kind of divide those into 2
I agree.
categories,
Yep.
Reformed and Lutheran. And then among the Reformed, I do what you did. I would say it's the continental Reformed stream and the Presbyterian stream, although I put them together, under the Reformed banner.
Right.
And then the 4th category I would say today is more like the broader evangelical Bible church thing. So if those big 4 categories, like just what are we talking about? What are the Reformed churches? Well, we're one of the main historic Protestant groups.
Right. And people, we'll back up on that because I think this is important, especially when you talk sort of broad evangelicalism. People, when they ask me sort of what is Reformed, I get that at the gym or whatever.
Yeah.
I first say, well, are you Christian?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not Roman Catholic.
Yeah.
They'll say. I said, so you just attend a Bible church. Well, then you should thank the Reformed. Because you are given back the Bible to be able to be where you are.
Tip of the cap to the Lutherans, of course, too, right?
The Lutherans,
all the historic Protestants, right? There
historic
we go.
Protestants. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So